Of Section 5 Live for AJ Feldman. I'm Alexa Ross.
We have some great action for you today, some great stories. We're in the heat of the soccer and field hockey seasons, other sports wrapping up, other seasons getting ready for it, and we've just got a great show for you.
Let's take a look at some of the things that happened, but we're going to start that out with boys soccer. Right now we're looking at our girls soccer stuff. I'll start talking about that. There are 8 undefeated soccer teams in girls right now, 3 of which are in Class A. Spencerport, Pittsford Mendon, and HFL. 9 wins for the Vikings, but we can get back to that.
Yeah, some boys soccer action this past Saturday. Great game between Greece Athena and Pittsford Sutherland. These two teams, both sectional champs from last year, A1, A2, played to a great 1-1 tie. You really felt the playoff atmosphere that unfortunately these two teams won't get to play each other in that sectional play-in game they usually get to, but just a really great game. Sutherland missing a couple starters, so you're starting to see those teams from last year. We're figuring out if they're for real or not from last year. We're seeing teams elevate their play at the next level, and it's just great to really get some high action, high intensity boys soccer going around here in Monroe County. There's
definitely a lot of high energy soccer all over the place. Like I said, 8 undefeated girls soccer teams as of right now. 3 of them are in Class A: Spencerport, Pittsford Mendon, and Honeoye Falls Lima. 9 wins for the Rangers. The Vikings have 6 under their belt, and the Cougars have 7. All have been super fun teams to follow. Palmac is the lone undefeated team in Class B1. 8 wins for them. Avon, Addison, Geneseo, Fillmore, also perfect. It's been a really cool thing to see in Section 5 soccer.
Makes you really excited for the sectional playoffs when these two teams, or these many teams, get to battle against each other.
Absolutely. Just like girls golf. AJ, you got to see the first sectional championship of COVID.
Yes, girls golf, they are wrapped up for their sectional play, luckily right before the weather hit. And the weather in this event wasn't great at all. It was a Monday, Wednesday event, both days some really adverse conditions. But the day belonged to, and the week belonged to, Julia Zagrossi, named the first sectional champion of the fall season, the sophomore from Spencerport. 9-shot lead heading into the final round. And she did great, consistent all week long, 37 on each of her 4 nines, 74-74. The weather didn't let it get to her. And she is going to be a player to watch over these next couple of years. It seems like the section is hers, so maybe not figuring out if she'll win these events, just by how much is really the question for Julia Zagrossi.
When you take a look at what she did, I mean, you shot everything. You got a lot of good stuff on her. And she's so fluid. She's so cohesive. I mean, golf is not for everyone. It's definitely not for me, and it's not for the 2 girls that I'm about to introduce you to. Last time we were here, AJ introduced us to some football players playing the other kind of football. Tonight, I want you to meet the Watkins sisters. The senior and freshman duo are a force to be reckoned with on the basketball and volleyball courts. They also do hurdles in the spring. This fall, they decided to add a new sport, and it was not golf. It was tennis. Check it out.
Anya and Mariah Watkins had never picked up a tennis racket before the pandemic.
It was just to try something new. Like my dad, he'd been playing for a little bit, so he's like, oh, why don't you guys try it?
We try a lot of different sports as a family, we're a really athletic family.
So when their volleyball season moved to the spring, the Watkins sisters decided to turn their quarantine hobby into their 4th varsity sport at Webster Schrader.
It's definitely going to keep me active, not just sitting at home, and it's also helping my footwork.
We're having to move around in tennis and then playing defense in basketball. They're really similar. I'm definitely better closer to the net in tennis because that's where I am for volleyball. I struggle with ground strokes a little bit, but my net game is pretty good.
One thing that didn't come easy at first was using a racket.
It's harder than I thought, I guess.
I've never played a sport with an object to play the actual sport. I've always just been able to use my hands, so it's a little weird having an extension.
But their relationship makes them a perfect pair of doubles partners for the Warriors.
I feel like we're a lot more honest with each other because we're siblings. We can tell each other anything, I guess, and our chemistry just works a lot better. She kind of guides me, gives me advice. It's just nice to have somebody that you know with you along the way.
My dad calls us Venus and Serena, even though we're nowhere close to that. But I just think it's cool to be able to play with a sibling that I've been playing with my whole life.
And maybe someday they'll get there. But for now, the Watkins sisters are just happy to be trying something new together.
My favorite thing about these two is that they're just so down for everything. I mean, they really got out on the court with their family and said, you know, let's try this fun new thing. Let's play tennis as a family. And then volleyball obviously got postponed, and they were like, I mean, we could keep playing tennis. That's fine, I guess. But Mariah, who's the freshman, she hated lacrosse because of the stick. So to hear them kind of talk about, oh, well, this extension, it's so weird, but their coach told me that once they got to serving, that's really when it clicked on how to use a racket, because the serving motion for volleyball is so similar to the serving motion for tennis. Obviously, there's a difference between racket and arm. So
I'm just really glad that they were able to clarify that they are not indeed as good as Serena and Venus Williams.
You know, it's so close when you have those sisters who play tennis, but they could get there someday. You never know.
I'm going to bet no, but hey, I'll put down my money on no. If you want to take yes, we can talk about this off camera.
You know how I love my Williams sisters, so yes. I know that they will be forever dominant as long as they're playing tennis. So
for our next story, we'll take you into the mindset of AJ as I was finding out about this story. I went to a girls' soccer game, Greece Athena versus Pittsford Mendon, and I get there a couple of first minutes, I'm like, wow. This one girl, she's really great. She literally stands above everybody. And then I hear some parents, some fans watching. Oh, she's just a freshman. She's just a freshman. And you obviously knew that they had to be talking about her. And her is Greece Athena's Rihanna Hudson. She is a fantastic player. Let's take a look at her story. When you watch Greece Athena's Rihanna Hudson play for the first time, there's a pretty typical reaction.
I was just like, wow, like, who is this kid and like, where'd she come from?
The 6'2" freshman is Monroe County's leading goal scorer, scoring in every game she's played this year and already has 3 hat tricks on the season. The game just comes naturally for her.
When I play soccer, I kind of think about like nothing else, and it's just like me on the field.
You can't create a person that is her size with her speed, out on the field. There's no one like her that I have seen at the women's level.
Hudson's prowess is known far beyond Rochester. She's gotten the attention of U.S. Soccer, and last year was one of 72 across the country to compete in the organization's Florida training camp. Excelling at these types of events let her know she really belongs.
I was doing really well at them. I was like trying my best. I was working hard, and like college coaches and other coaches were contacting me. That's like when I realized that I was like doing really well and that I could really make it as a soccer player.
Hudson's towering 6'2" height is not just rare at the Section 5 level, it's rare at any level, period. Last year's U.S. women's national team roster didn't feature a single player that tall, a team she hopes to be on one day herself.
I always just think about myself put in those circumstances. And I just always dream about like being like that good to the point where I can play in the World Cup and professional games.
I very much see her someday playing at the highest level. You can't ignore Rihanna Hudson.
So just watch her play once, and you'll realize why you'll be hearing about her in the future. Yeah, just a great individual. Her coach called her the most humble person that he's ever met. So that says a lot about her character. And the athletic genes certainly run in the family. Both of her parents, they played division collegiate athletics. She has 3 older siblings, 1 older brother who played hockey. She has 1 older sister who played soccer at Buff State. And she has 1 older sister right now, Wanaya Hudson. She is a sophomore at Notre Dame, D1 nationally ranked team. So the genes are definitely in her future, and just by talking to the coaches, the players, it seems like she's at an even higher level where, like as we saw in the package there, getting the attention of the U.S. women's national team program.
That's incredible. I mean, when you see women, especially at that level, what the women's game has become, what it's evolving to with European clubs taking over the women's game, the sky's the limit for her, and it's going to be really exciting to watch her. And I'm really excited to go out and see her for myself sometime soon.
You've got over 3 more years to do that here around Rochester, so that's the scary thing.
I mean, even just watching her highlights and reading her highlights, I'm like, whoa, this girl's incredible. So I'm sure in person it is even better tenfold.
Yeah, and once she really learns how to be consistent and really dominate games where a dominant game isn't 3 goals, it's 4, 5, 6 goals. That's what they were talking about, where that's the level that she can get at Section 5 play. So definitely something to watch for in the future.
I'm so excited. Speaking of things to watch for in the future, we're going to take a look at our games to watch. My game to watch is actually a little bit beyond this weekend. Tuesday the 3rd to be exact, Election Day. The undefeated Sutherland Field hockey team up against a once beaten Mendon team. This game was postponed, so it'll be the first time that the 2 Pittsford Field hockey teams will go head to head this season. And if you missed that one, they play again on Thursday the 5th which should be a lot of fun for the district rivalry. Hey, Jay, what do you got?
Yeah, Mendon, a big win last night against Webster Thomas Field Hockey. They were undefeated, outscoring their opponents 56-2 on the season. Wow. So they beat the class of Section 5. Now let's see if they can hold on to that. I've got a boys soccer matchup to watch. That is coming up on Saturday. Fairport taking on Penfield. Fairport, last year's Class AA runner-ups throughout the entire state. They've got off to a little bit of a rocky start lately, 1-3 in their last 4 games, scoring just 4 goals. While Penfield has really ascended to the top of the standings, 6-0. They already met earlier this season. Penfield won that matchup 2-0. So we will see if Penfield can keep at that high level and whether or not Fairport is, not going to give up their crown all that easily.
Yeah, I mean, watching Fairport last season, they were a lot of fun to watch. It was fun to follow them through states, fun to see everything that they did, and they were really so excited to try and, keep it going. So, we'll just have to see what happens when sectionals rolls around. But the Section 5 sports community has come together, all thanks to Primetime Ballers. Karen Iglesia, the woman behind the social media accounts, challenged her sports circle to help sponsor local families for Thanksgiving dinner. It started with Derek Anacino at Aquinas challenging other football coaches, and it just took off. So right now, there are more than 120 families living in poverty who won't have to worry about their holiday meal thanks to the help of the coaches of not just football, basketball, sports all over the place. They're still accepting donations. So be sure to visit us at rochesterfirst.com. Click on the story, find out ways that you can help.
Yeah, and I've seen just the numbers go up as they tweet out. It's going higher and higher. They're looking for more families to, support senior families, I've seen. So definitely great to see, especially the football community. There's a lot of things to do when you're bored, got nothing to do with the football season. They're really putting their mind, their manner, their money to good work.
That was the thing Derek said. He was like, we're not doing much else, so might as well do something good, right?
Exactly.
So it's super cool to see everybody who be able to compete and kind of get that competitive spirit going, all for a really great cause.
Definitely. Well, that is all the time we have for you tonight here on Section 5 Live. Sectionals are approaching for boys and girls soccer, field hockey as well. All the other sports, I'm sure we'll get out to those championships. Those are coming up soon. We will be back with you in 2 weeks from now on November 12th at 9 o'clock, so be sure to tune in then.
And follow us for more on all of the best local coverage. Until then, for AJ Feldman, I'm Alexa Ross. We'll see you next time.